My biggest regret as an engineer was not learning how to program the Arduino sooner. Don't make the same mistake I did. I was passed up on jobs and wasn't able to expand my career. So if you want to get into the engineering field with $100,000 per year jobs, stick around because I'm going to show you your first lesson. We are going to make a blinking LED project, which I will use to prank my son. I purchased the most complete starter kit, but here is a list of everything we'll be using today. All right, let's wire up this circuit. We're going to start at pin number 13 here, and then we're going to plug in to a row here. Now, when we plug in a row, we just powered this whole row up. So now we've powered up the 220 ohm resistor. We're going to put in this LED here. Notice that the long side is on the same row as the resistor here. And then we're going to grab the short leg of the resistor here. We're going to put it into that same row, and we're going to bring it back to the ground right here. We're going to plug in our USB cord. We're going to take that, and we're going to plug that into the side of the computer. Let's download the software. So we went to arduino.cc.en.software. I clicked this, and it sent it to my desktop. In my desktop, I clicked on this, and I drug this over here, which then created this, and I opened it. And this is the initial screen that we can start coding. All right, let's write some code. So we are going to type in int, and you see how that went from black to green? That means Arduino has recognized this as a command. And so the int stands for integer, and all that means to this program is there is a box that's storing a number. And so the label on that box is any word we want. So we're going to call this LED red, and that is 13. So Arduino now understands the box is named LED red, and inside of that box is the number 13. What this allows us to do is that we are allowed to change the pin location for this wire to any other location we want. We just have to go back into the software and change this one number, right, to the corresponding pin. And then what the LED red means is this is more meaningful to us as we're coding. And when we get into more advanced code, you'll see why we want to make any effort to make this as easy as possible to us. So now we're going to go down to the void setup section. This is just the one and done section. So you put your code in here, and this will initialize it. And then in the next section, it'll run through again and again and again in the void loop section, right? So we're going to write pin mode. And you see the program just recognized that as being a term it understands. So we're going to say the LED red is output. So pin mode's funny because the first portion here is the pin, and then the second portion is the mode. So we want LED red, which is pin 13, to output. In this case, we want it to blink on. So we could also have it be an input for different sensors and things, but we'll cover that later. So, oops. And we are going to add our semicolon, which is their version of a period. And so in the void loop section, we are going to turn on and turn off the light. So that's going to look like this. So it's going to be digital write. And see, the program recognized it. We are going to say LED red, and we want that high. So what this means is that we will be sending 5 volts to the LED, the red LED, which is pin 13. The way Arduino understands this is it's a 5-volt signal to turn it on. And that's what these slashes here mean, is that this creates a comment. So Arduino ignores this portion, but this is what we write here to make it easier on ourselves to write comments. Right now it's quite simple, but later on when we're writing more complicated code, we're going to need any opportunity to make it easier on us, and we'll be using comments, of course, for that. So with digital write, we've turned it on, and then we're going to type the word delay, which means how long is it going to stay on? So this is in milliseconds. So that means you need 1,000 milliseconds to make a full second. So that's what we told it. So we said, turn on, digital write, basically turn it on, and then we'll say delay for an entire second. Now we're going to come down here and we're going to write digital write, and then LED red, and we are going to type low. So now we did 0 volts to turn off. And let's turn this off for 1 second or 1,000 milliseconds. And that's the program. So one of the things here, digital write, is a little bit confusing, but this is how we can think about it. So digital, which is off or on, right? As we see here, we have either 5 volts or nothing. And then write, as in write, we want it to send voltage out, as compared to there's another one called digital read, where we are sensing what's coming back. There's also an analog, right? Analog is, you can have the spectrum of answers. Anyway, that's our program. We're going to do a quick save, and we're going to upload it onto our Arduino. Quick save of this here. So we're going to go to File, Save, and we will call this Sketch LED Blink. And it's going to save in the Arduino folder here. Let's plug in our Arduino and upload the files. So I tried to upload the files here. It's not blinking yet, but I found the problem right here, which is pin mode. This is a capital P, and this needs to be right here, a lowercase p. So we're making that quick change right here, and we are going to upload it. And we are going to verify it here. We've selected this board here, and there it is. All right, this is the point. This is the point of all the coding here, is we're trying to get this LED to blink. And why this is so important is This board sends out electrical signals. So we have sent a signal to something. This means at a later time, we could put in a motor, we could put in a fan, we could put in little switches to control stuff. We can modify and create the just anything, right? Like this is the foundational skill because later on, if we can't figure out if our motor's working, we can put a little LED in there to see if we got the code right, if we got the wiring right, and then we can troubleshoot and get closer and closer to our answer. Now, here's a fun little fact. When we hooked into pin 13 here, pin 13 is interesting because it has its own little light on the board itself. So not only can we see that power is getting to pin 13, but it's actually going all the way to its final destination here, which is the LED itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another LED. We're going to put the long side here onto this breadboard here. And so we've jumped from one line to the next. So we're going to move our power to one further. Now that we have the two lights, we see that we've just basically extended the circuit here, and we can use this for the eyes for our scaring my son. All right, we got these two LEDs batteries hooked up. Now, since we have the code on the Arduino, it came with a battery as well as a wire to wire it up. So now you see that I can add these to something to prank my son.
What are we doing?
He's going to open the box in the bathroom.
Oh, I know what this is.
Look at me failing to scare my own son. It's okay. I have a daughter, so I set up the wolf in the closet. We'll see if we can scare her. Peppa Pig's in that closet.
Well. It does seem to work.
Aren't you scared?
Yes, I stand outside for.
Well, if you like projects like this, subscribe, and I look forward to sharing the next one with you.